never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind.
Hey guys, how you going? Okay, let's get into this. Oh, I don't know. David Atherton said, this is the Muslim culture in Britain. I have multiple sources for these attitudes. A follower writes, a Muslim friend of mine, Muslim? I don't know, was explaining to me that basically white girls are seen as just something to F like prostitutes. Mainly married men and fathers can carry on being good dads and fathers and just attack white girls like a release. They don't see it as rape. They don't see shagging a goat as rape. She said, like some white blokes watch porn, they go and shag a white girl. She said it so flippantly to them, rape would be to force yourself on a pure Muslim woman. To them, this isn't rape. These girls are nothing, just shit on their shoes. They barely see them as human. She said the wives know and don't even care because most of them don't love their husbands anyway. A lot of the marriages are arranged, so as long as they don't have to have sex with them, they couldn't care less what they're doing to white girls if it keeps them, their husbands, off their backs. She was trying to say it to me like it was a positive thing. This is why most Muslim marriages last so long, she said, because they don't have to worry about the sex side of things. He can just get laid when he wants, and she can get on with being a wife. You know, like in white British marriages, and they all break up because the wife won't shag her husband, so he has an affair. Well, like in Muslim communities, the wives, unless they need or want a baby, if they don't want sex, they just let him or encourage him to go off and take a white girl. She was saying this to me like it was all perfectly normal and didn't know why I was so shocked or angry about it. She added, it's not like they're nice girls though, is it? It's not like it's your daughter who goes to church and stuff. It's just the little slags that go drinking down the park and stuff. I couldn't believe what she was saying. This is a woman who I've really cared about and thought we were friends. This mindset is deep. She got a few choice words. I don't think we're friends anymore. I just needed to share this because I'm really angry. Yeah, this is not... There are certain societies that should not mingle. They don't, it's not... it's a conflict, put it that way. Carolina Viper said nursing home to be shut down to make way for Islamic mosque in Sydney South. Sonny Bill Williams wins battle to build a mosque in Sydney South. He's a bloody traitor. He was born a Christian. Topher Fields said the problem with the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, isn't the fraud. It's the fact that it exists. The fraud just makes it worse. NDIS is using taxpayer dollars to pay healthy people to do unproductive work for unhealthy people who are rewarded for doing less rather than more to help themselves. It's a productivity-destroying triple whammy. And no, before you accuse me of being heartless and uncaring, that's not true at all. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Misplaced welfare hurts us all. It doesn't help. Consider human living standards are dictated by our productivity, whether you like it or not. That means that humans on average can only consume as much as we produce on average. Therefore, anything which unnecessarily reduces productivity also reduces quality of life. Taking money from productive people to divert to other productive people into unproductive work, done in large part for people who could do more to help themselves, but now don't because the NDIS rewards them for needing more, means that we're stripping Australia of productive work, which would make all our lives better. So the people committing NDIS fraud are not a cause of NDIS waste, they're just a different kind. Unpopular opinion? Sure, but it's the truth. Charity work is wonderful and no one who truly needs help should be left without it. But charity should be done with donated time, not paid time. And it certainly shouldn't be done with productive tax money put to unproductive use. The cops called in as the National Disability Insurance Scheme loses billions more to frauds and overcharging. Yeah. Okay, Serini said, I understand and agree with your argument from that perspective, but at the same time, we do and will have unproductive people in our society that have severe mental and physical difficulties that will require support for them to live life as best they can. That would either be in the form of family carers or government-funded care. I would like to see carers, if they're willing and able to support their family member, get a tax break in order to compensate them for the support required. Before you say it, yes, there would have to be a very strict definition of it. And Topher Fields said, people who genuinely cannot support themselves deserve our compassion and care. I absolutely and act on that. No one should be left without basic food, water, sanitation, clothing, shelter, and emergency medical care. The Bible is clear about that. But just because it should be done, it doesn't follow that the government should do it. Further, just because it should be done, it doesn't follow that it should be done at any cost. But every time we provide someone with something they did not work or pay for, we reduce the overall wealth of our society, consumption without corresponding production. And so we need to be careful to only do that as much as is necessary. I believe it's morally wrong to consume without producing unless you had no choice, i.e. genuine disability. And likewise, I believe it's morally wrong to enable such consumption because you are stealing from future generations. Everyone must be expected to produce the best of their abilities. And where there are people, and there's lots of people who genuinely cannot produce enough value to provide for their minimal needs, then voluntary charity via family, community, churches and civic institutions should step in to make up the difference. Yes, definitely. Yeah, we need our own Make Australia Healthy Again movement. With doctors and psychologists giving out autism diagnosis like candy after a single session in some cases, it's just victim-enabling behaviours from our medical system. It's very easy to simply say cut it without understanding the implication it has on families caring or finding it harder and harder to care for the person with special needs, especially in these trying times where our dollars don't go as far as we have to sacrifice more and more time to make up for it. But these are the debates we need to have. I'm definitely not sure on what the answer is, but perhaps it's getting back to the community mindset where we can all share the burden with our time instead of our tax dollars. It's an interesting conversation, I'll tell you that right now. And I agree with, like, the fraud in it and being unproductive. Let people do what they are able to do and then help them with the rest. MJ Truth Ultra said new owner of the LA Times, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, it was a mistake to endorse Karen Bass. You're kidding, aren't you? This is the same guy who blocked the editorial board from endorsing Kamala Harris in the 2024 election, which led to resignations and widespread woke reader subscriber backlash. The LA Times recently broke the horrific viral story that the Palisades water reservoir was offline and empty. Has he seen the light? Or is he just trying to save his paper from flatlining? Well, that's what a lot of them are doing. Trying to save them, like Mark Zuckerberg. Trying to save themselves. Senator Babette said, word has reached my ear that the Vatican has just indicated they are allowing openly homosexual men to become Catholic priests. Is this true? If true, the Catholic Church has fallen well and truly. Now, I don't know if it's true, but there you go. Malcolm Roberts said no coal, no gas, no nuclear, no economy. Official Greens policy is now no coal, no gas and no nuclear. No coal, no steel, no ploughs, no trucks, no food. No coal, no steel, no sawmill, no timber, no houses. No steel, no livelihood, no security, no conveniences, no coal power stations, no gas power stations, no nuclear power stations, no wind turbines, no solar panels, no light, no transport, no hospitals, no civilization. History shows that without hydrocarbon fuels, gas, coal and oil, lives are shorter, harsher and crueler. Top journalist Adam Creighton turns his attention to climate fraud's contradictions and stupidity. He uses data as the basis for his articles. By the way, Adam is powerful in exposing contradiction, fraud and stupidity in the West's COVID response. Quote, a green lash is coming as voters throughout the developed world realise how duped they've been by years of unscientific, uneconomic nonsense spouted by much of the media and the so-called experts. And the recent European Parliament elections should be a wake-up call for radical climate change evangelists. In France, support for local Green parties more than halved to 5.5%. In Germany, it collapsed almost 50% to 12%. Voters really don't want to be forced directly or indirectly to get an electric vehicle when they're perfectly happy with their internal combustion fire. TX Sierra added, rather than fighting climate change, voters' strong preferences for cheap, reliable, abundant energy. If the mainstream media focus more on retailing these important facts, rather than dwelling on hot days in summer, we'd have a better chance of avoiding massive economic costs for zero environmental benefit. Europe's electoral earthquake sounds warning for the Greens. Yeah, vote Greens and return to living in caves again. Make caves great again. Mostly peaceful memes said I would pay good money for a new car with as little technology in it as possible. No GPS, no cameras, no Wi-Fi data links, no automated systems. Can't be tracked, can't be monitored. I agree with that. Jim Ferguson said Labor Party Shadow Minister Eric Joyce pleads guilty to making indecent movie of a child. Labor Party Shadow Minister Eric Joyce was ordered to sign the sex offender register after admitting to making a sex movie with a 1-year-old child. Oh, my God. The disgraced Labor MP was accused of making a movie in the most serious A category of indecency on a device. Judge Emma Peters said that the movie found on the device depicts a number of children. Some are very young. One is said to be 12 months old. She said clearly a category A movie. Joyce, 59 of Whirlingworth, Suffolk, was granted bail after pleading guilty at Ipswich Crown Court on Tuesday and was ordered to sign the sex offenders register. Judge Peters also instructed that a report be prepared for the Labor Party Shadow Minister before the Labor Party Shadow Minister is sentenced on August the 7th. She warned Joyce that the offence crosses the custody threshold, adding that the court takes such incidents very seriously as they fuel the abuse of children. Joyce was charged under the Protection of Child Act after being arrested in Wallingworth on November the 6th, 2018. He was then released under investigation until being summoned to appear before the magistrates this week. The MP issued a statement about his charge on his website in June. He said the matter of my charge announced today will be dealt with in the first instance on 7th of July at Ipswich Crown Court. I will make no comment from now until all legal processes are at a close. At that point, I'll make a full statement. Oh, dear God. Oh, yes, that's right, Luke 8:17. Wow. Okay, now here to Australia again. Kobe Thatcher said, I imagine this is how thrilled Kevin Rudd and Penny Wong will be, surrounded by a huge crowd of happy, celebrating MAGA supporters on Inauguration Day. Because guess who they're sending to represent Australia? They nearly look like twins. Okay, Elon Musk said the pressure will keep building. The British public deserve answers, not cover-ups. Robert Lowe MP said more Labor MPs backing calls for a national inquiry. I count 3 now. The pressure on Starmer to do the right thing is building. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, what's this? Hang on. Carolyn Coram said, Elon seems keen for you to be leader of reform. Have discussions taken place within the party on this? Huh. Interesting. Malcolm Roberts said the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, CASA, claims there are no side effects from certain procedures they made people have. I've asked them multiple times to search their medical records database and report how many times the word myocarditis and other conditions have appeared over the years. They tried telling me that conducting such a search wasn't possible. However, they seem to have forgotten they advised they had done such a search in a previous question on notice, proving it can be done. The real issue is they are unwilling to conduct a search for the subsequent years because they know the number of matches have increased over the years, which would force them to admit there's a problem. It's still going, okay, well, hopefully soon. MAGA Voice said, holy shit, Donald Trump's message for any scientist who wants to shut things down, we will not comply. No, we won't. Let's have a listen.
Hear these words, we will not comply.
Okay, that's all I'm going to play because of the music in the background. Kari Lake said Major Rudy Giuliani is a hero. Rudy has nearly been destroyed by lawfare. I've dealt with lawfare myself and some of the same cast of characters have gone after Rudy, and I can tell you it's awful. We must end the heinous abuse of the law and restore true justice and reform to our corrupt court system. Please do whatever you can to help Rudy Giuliani. Donald J. Trump said save Rudy because the left are after him again. Yeah. Dan Lyman said, so I can't narc some migrants at Lowe's today. These seedy third world scumbags tossed their shopping cart across the parking lot, watched it hit a pickup truck, laughed and prepared to leave. I wonder if that's what's happened to my car. I called them out and told them their conduct was totally unacceptable when they started jabbering at me in non-English, clearly denying what I had observed them just do. When I snapped a photo of their license plate, they got pretty upset, then jumped into their beat-up Nissan, the preferred car brand of sorted biomass. As they were pulling away, the driver of the truck walked up and I quickly explained what happened, pointing out the fleeing vehicle. The woman just stared at me, perplexed and seemingly unconcerned. What? Then I realised she didn't speak English either. I want my country back. Remove them all. Wow. Okay. There you go. Clown Down Under said lights out for Australia. Are you ready for this one?
Imagine going 100% renewable. There'll be fucking no hair straighteners running today, Karen. Fuckwits.
See the mess? Those things weren't moving. Okay, here's a question for everyone, including me. Kezia Noble, if Jews are secretly controlling the UK government, then why is the UK government so obsessed with the Muslim vote? Oh, wait. Interesting. What answers have been thrown around here? Because Jews are using Muslims as a bioweapon to destroy Christians. The heads of every NGO that's flooding Western nations with non-Western cultures is Jewish. They're literally saying it out loud. They know what they're doing.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
Really? So the Jewish want to be the next big thing. The clergy plan, pit the Christian West against the Islamic East and do it on your ground. Aims to make unique races and cultures extinct. Warburgs, Baruchs, Rothschild are some of the banking cartels responsible for funding clergy's genocidal ideology. The UN and the EU execute the plan calling replacement immigration. The UN Migration Pact also criminalises criticism of immigration as hate speech, thought crime. Eventually this plan will target every nation on earth, like Save Share, this image to spread awareness far and wide. I see your bet and raise it. How can the UK left claim Israel's a fake country because it was set up in 1947-48, but at the same time insist Pakistan is legitimate when it too was set up in 1947-48? Oh, wait. Yeah, look, I don't care who's doing what. They need to stop, all of them, and held accountable. That would help. Eric Doherty said Trump met with Senator John Fetterman at Mar-a-Lago, Washington, according to the Washington Examiner. Trump, it was totally fascinating. He's a fascinating man and his wife is lovely. I couldn't be more impressed. He's a common sense person. He's not a liberal or conservative, which is beautiful. There you go. Even Dyer said Fetterman got mental health treatment after his stroke and suddenly started being a more normal person. Funny how that works. 7 days, 7 days. Oh, my goodness, come on. Let's go. Mark Rowley said, sporting great Sonny Bill Williams has won a battle to have a mosque built in Sydney South. That same person again. Approval's been gained in Hurstville. Yeah, no, thank you. Miss laughs a lot. said not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but all the other ones keep coming true, so what's up with the smart meters? Okay, let's have a listen.
This is one of the homes that survived the Pasadena wildfire, and the owner of this home also has one in the back. One of them burnt and one of them didn't. Check this shit out.
I talked to the owner of this house right here in Pasadena. I talked to the owner. The owner does not have a smart meter on this house, on the front part of his house.
Smart meter.
There's no smart meter. The back house is the part of the house that had the smart meter, and everything in the back of his house is burnt. No smart meter. Smart meter.
So I go research this shit, and then I came across this video about a retired engineer refusing to let the state install a smart meter on his home. Check this out.
It's obvious Norbert Slowinski does not want Duquesne Light to install a so-called smart meter on his property. So you've essentially put a chain on your meter.
Yes.
The retired mechanical engineer says smart meters are dangerous.
The smart meter is not
Listen
safe
what he
for the following
say.
reasons. Again, it emits high frequency radio waves, and you don't feel them, you don't know about them, but they penetrate your body and they can cause health problems later on. My bedroom is right next door, and it will emit high frequency waves, so I'm worried about my health and my children's health. They catch fire because there's very high voltage inside.
You heard what he said on that last part. I'm gonna drop a part 2 showing y'all who owns all of those smart meters in those areas that burn. Until then, let me know what y'all think in the
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Smart meters, possibly. I think there's many different ways they've gone at this, including arson. Shadow of Ezra said Ellen DeGeneres has made her way back to the United States after retiring from Hollywood and relocating to the United Kingdom. The Diddy Party participant was spotted touring an exclusive retirement community known for hosting some of the world's most iconic figures in their final days. She looks like Bill Gates now. Oh my God. She looks weird. That's not Ellen. Okay, anyway. Stephanie Tyler said, oh my God, are you kidding me? Laughed my freaking ass off. So now talking about the dangers of obesity gets me flagged for self-harm. This is absolutely ridiculous, Elon Musk. People abusing the reporting system because they can't handle facts is such a joke. Can we please do something about this? X has given this lady, hello, we're writing to you because a concerned individual has recently alerted us to a potentially suicidal or self-harming comments posted on your account. In difficult times, when you need someone to talk to, it may help to speak to professionals who can assist you in coping with your current circumstances. If you're having thoughts of self-harm, suicide or depression, we encourage you to please reach out to someone and request help. Our help centre has a list of resources you can consult for a variety of reasons, including depression, loneliness, substance abuse, illness, relationship problems, and economic problems. You can find those resources here. Please know that there are people out there who care about you and that you are not alone. Oh dear God. What is going on, Elon? Seriously? Okay, Cody Lack said, oh my God, help us. Trudeau is sending the twit to negotiate. Trudeau is a joke that writes itself. Tokyo Rosie said, God help us all. Toronto Star said, Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly off to Washington next week to talk tariffs. Oh dear. Renee Hoendecamp, I hope I said that right. I've got no idea. My God, it does. The Labor Party. Does the Labor Party have a pedophile issue? Peter Lloyd said in 2022, Labor MP Nazir Ahmed was convicted of attacking a young boy aged 9 in Rotherham. He was originally jailed for 3.5 years. However, this sentence was quietly reduced to just 6 months on appeal. The appeal judges are all Labor voting Liberals. Sickening. Wow. He's still listed on the Parliament website. Wow. He's a Lord, is he? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's... Jeez. Okay, the Vigilant Fox said number 2. Oh, hang on. Is there more to this? Number 1. Oh, number 4. Hang on. Where are we going here? Number 8. What's going on here? Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Vigilant Fox said the New Zealand government pushes to codify medical mandates into law. Watch our exclusive interview with Dr. Andrew Zywick on this disturbing development. Okay. Why are they going up instead of down? Number 2, Joe Rogan shuts down Mark Zuckerberg's bogus claim about COOF. Things were going well for Zuckerberg's rebranding as a free speech absolutist until he made a fatal error at the end. He argued that censoring voices and concerns about certain procedure safety was done for the purpose of the greater good. If you hear that greater good, run the other way. Suggesting it was free from personal political gain. Oh, I don't think so. I still think it's good for more people to get the thing, Zuckerberg said. I'm not sure in that case how much of it censorship was like a personal political gain that they were going for. I think they had a kind of goal that they thought was in the interest of the country, and the way they went about it, I think, violated the law. Well, there's a bunch of problems with that, Rogan retorted before laying out a quick history of the incentives behind censoring speech about certain safety. There's the emergency use authorization that they needed in order to get this pushed through, and you can't have that without if there are valid therapeutics being available, okay? So they suppress the valid therapeutics. So they're suppressing real information that would lead to people being healthy and successful in defeating this disease. And they did that so they could have this one solution. And this was Fauci's game plan. I mean, this is the movie Dallas Buyers Club. That's Fauci in the movie. That was with the AIDS crisis. This is the exact same game plan that was played out with the COOF. The procedure for that. They push one solution, this only one, suppressed all therapeutics through propaganda, through suppressing monoclonal antibodies, like all of it. And that was done, in my opinion, for profit. And they did that because it was extremely profitable. The amount of money that was made was extraordinary during that time, Rogan explained. And not only that, a lot of the politicians had shares in Big Pharma. Number 3, Greenland's ready to talk with Trump as status quo becomes no longer an option. Okay, the UK government opens investigation into Elon Musk's tweets about grooming gangs instead of the grooming gang issue itself. Insane Joe Rogan clip predicting the Los Angeles wildfire goes mega viral. After you watch this clip, check out Z Media's fiery take on this catastrophic mismanagement. Okay, this is not normal. A leaked memo reveals an unusual presidential inauguration medical personnel support deployment request. Okay, something interesting. I'm going to have to look more into that. Shocking new study finds catastrophic neurological and psychiatric damage from certain procedures that were forced on people. Molly Hemingway shares a hilarious take on the gift that Liz Cheney and the January 6th gave to Republicans. John Fetterman breaks the internet with 2 explosive statements on Fox News. It's not every day that you hear Democrats saying something like this. First, in a move that surprised many, Fetterman announced he would vote yes on several of Trump's cabinet picks, like Marco Rubio, Elise Stefanik, Sean Duffy and Brooke Rollins are already on the list, and he's even open to considering RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. Then, as if that wasn't enough, Fetterman took a flamethrower to the Democrat Party's freakouts over Trump's interest in Greenland. Yeah, I did read that before. And certain things are allegedly very, very good for the big C. Remarkable success stories are pouring in from people using this certain mixture. Okay, so there you go. How many times back do I have to go now? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to be quick with this, and I won't be here tomorrow, guys. I have to babysit. Sister Barbara Reen said, "Oh my God, dear USA, Wong way up. The communist whack job does not represent the majority of Australians. Hell, our current minority government doesn't represent decent Australians." Law Girl said, "America, I assure you that this socialist anti-Semite does not represent all of Australia. Wong to represent Australia at Trump's inauguration." Oh, dear God. Foreign Minister Penny Wong, Anthony Albanese's closest confidant, will use the visit to expand cooperation with Donald Trump's second administration on economics and security. Trump, please take over Australia. I'll tell you why in a minute. The White Rabbit podcast said, breaking, forensic arborist interviewed after Maui concludes that most forest fires have not been forest fires of trees as trees will have standing. This research has blown my mind and may be relative to the Los Angeles fires. He claims fire captains are too afraid to speak out. Listen to this.
Oh my God, mind blown. I'm sitting in my house trying to fix my hair, and I'm watching this clip on Bitchute. Poor old Bitchute. Everyone that they're trying to silence ends up on Bitchute. So there is an arborist, 30-year-old veteran, now self-described as a forensic arborist, because he goes to what people think are forest fires to determine if they really were after the fact. And he has just said something that's blown my mind, because my husband works in construction and everything's changing in construction, from smart meters to a whole lot of other stuff, and there's question marks over those. I'm going to link the Bitchute, and I'm doing a very quick video. My phone only lets me do 3-minute videos now. Ha ha, wonder why. Because then you might see this clip. He's talking about getting there, and things that should have burnt haven't, like trees and leaves, and things that shouldn't have burnt, like metals and plastics, well, particularly metals, have. And he says that he's determined it's because these were fires that were started with microwaves. Now, microwaves don't ignite trees. Fire ignites trees. Microwaves affect metal. Now, this started me thinking, oh my God, in Australia, they are starting to build homes with metal frames, and they're all blue. You see them everywhere. They've stopped doing wooden frames, which has worked for hundreds.
Oh, don't get smart meters, guys.
Oh my God.
Newsom declared a state of emergency 2 weeks before fires for bird flu. Something is very wrong. Definitely. Okay, Angry Auntie said 60 fire trucks from Oregon were heading to Los Angeles to help fight the fires. They were stopped in San Francisco for emissions testing. The trucks won't pass because of the strict emissions requirements in California. This is insanity. There you go. Wow. Lee said anyone who's ever worked with a bullshit artist in the private sector knows one when they see one. I pray the whole of California has been irrevocably red-pilled over this avoidable disaster. The only silver lining I can imagine. Gavin Newsom said a lot of misinformation out there, just launched a new site to ensure the public has access to fact-based data around the Southern CA California fires. The truth, California did not cut our firefighting budget. We have nearly doubled the size of our firefighting army and built the world's largest aerial firefighting fleet. California has increased forest management tenfold since we took office. California will not allow for looting. So turn everything round that he just said, right? The lies, okay? Just turn it all upside down. That's closer to correct. Epstein Sheet said, FYI, LA Mayor Karen Bass is an actual Marxist-Leninist trained in Cuba under elements of the Castro regime.
November 7, 1983. Remember this date, but first, let me introduce you to Karen Bass. Back in the 1970s, community activist Karen Bass went on at least 15 trips to Cuba, many with a group known as the Venceremos Brigade, a Marxist group started by the Castro regime to subvert American interests, weaken democracies, and spread communism around the world. Founded in 1969, the Venceremos Brigade organized trips to Cuba every year for half a century. They attracted the most radicalized and delusional segments of the American left, including overtly Maoist and pro-Soviet communist groups. In fact, a Los Angeles police investigator who infiltrated the group testified to Congress saying that to be a member of the brigade, you had to be confirmed as a Marxist-Leninist, as a brigadista, and then moving up the ranks to organizer for the Venceremos Brigade. Karen Bass visited Cuba every 6 months. Their mission? To radicalize young, impressionable American leftists in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare. Members of the Venceremos Brigade were even taught how to make bombs.
Jesus Christ!
Karen Bass admits, on her many pilgrimages to Cuba, she went to see Fidel Castro speak several times, even calling him charismatic. And upon his death, praised him, saying, the passing of Commandant en Jefe is a great loss to the people of Cuba, even though the people of Cuba see him as a dictator who impoverished their island. Another group, the M19, took its belief in revolutionary anti-imperialism to extremes, violent extremes. The M19 was the first and only women-created and women-led domestic terrorist group. Since their founding in 1978, M19's tactics escalated from robbing armored trucks and abetting prison breaks to building their own explosives and carrying out terrorist bombings. From 1983 to 1984, M19 bombed an FBI office, the Israel Aircraft Industries Building, the South African Consulate in New York, DC's Fort McNair, and Navy Yard, which they bombed twice. But that wasn't enough for them. On the night of November 7, 1983, the M19 called the US Capitol switchboard and warned them to evacuate the building. Minutes later, the M19 bombed the north wing of the US Capitol. November 7, 2023 marks 40 years since the M19's bombing of the US Capitol. Members of the M19, like Susan Rosenberg, traveled to Cuba with and were radicalized by the Venceremos Brigade. The South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade was led by Karen Bass, who is now mayor of Los Angeles.
Wow. Tangled webs they weave, hey? Epstein Sheet said Chuck Schumer, this is serious crime, you know. Disgusting man. What did he say? People who invaded the Capitol on J6, whether they committed violence or not, should not be pardoned. They unlawfully broke into the Capitol's... No, they didn't. The doors were opened and they were ushered in, you dickhead. Anyway, yes, that's a serious crime. Yep. Chuck Schumer, this is serious. Is that you? Yep. Okay. Kanoka the Great said, Jamie Dimon, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value and is heavily used by sex traffickers. JP Morgan Chase processes $1 billion for Jeffrey Epstein. Also, JP Morgan pays $350 million plus to Epstein victims who say the bank enabled his trafficking ring. Maybe sit this one out, Jamie. So if you're listening to these people tell you about Bitcoin having no intrinsic value and is used for by criminals, just remember what they did with Epstein. John Paul Berg said, Canada, hypothetically, if you had to choose, which way are you going? Would you let America take you over or China? Which one would you prefer? Because this is what I'm looking at in Australia. I don't want China taking us. I'd rather America did. I'm going to leave that with you. You can decide. If you're Canadian, would you rather China takes over or America? Tokyo Rosie said Trudeau bought the mainstream media in Canada, but he couldn't buy social media. That's why he was so obsessed with censoring online content in Canada. He can't stand people speaking freely because they might speak poorly about him. When Trudeau blames social media for his failures, what he's really doing is blaming free speech. Fuck the guy. Debbie Bloodclot. Oh, nice name. Italian Prime Minister. Islam is not compatible with Christianity. In Canada, she would be charged with hate speech. I 100% agree with her. Do you? Yes, I do. It is not. It is not compatible. Sorry. You have completely opposite views. George said, I know, the FBI just announced there are no threats to President Trump's inauguration based on their knowledge. Should we believe the opposite? Should I be worried as an attendee? And then George said, breaking, DC police officials just announced that nearly 4,000 cops nationwide have volunteered to come help on President Trump's inauguration day. Additionally, all DC officers will be activated for the event. They are anticipating a historic crowd. This is Trump's reward for standing by police officers when the left wanted to defund, abolish and destroy them. Thank you to the officers who are coming to keep us safe. Keep President Trump safe. Yeah, when did women start controlling everything? Like, why is there always a woman put forward? Okay, here's one, Tinfoil. Tinfoil Batty said, who shouldn't be firefighters or Secret Service agents? That's right, women. Okay? You can call me a misogynist if you want. I don't care. But women should not be, should not be firefighters or Secret Service agents. And why are they always women now? Let's have some men talking. Oh dear, I don't know. Someday people will learn. Maybe they have to learn the hard way. Let women take over, watch the whole thing collapse, and then, oh yeah, we should have let the men, Jesus. Proud Army Brat said, this fool says that when he became president, the border numbers went way down, then adds, look, I pushed hard to get more Secret Service agents on the border. Secret Service agents? I wish this clown the absolute worst. What the hell, Biden?
Look, let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down, number one. Number two, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents. And guess what? He's on the phone saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Make me look bad. Look, let's get something.
What a lie. And Secret Service agents on the border? I don't know about that. Okay. George said breaking the Secret Service agent in charge of President Trump's inauguration just announced that it's higher threat environment and they've activated every resource to keep Trump and patriots safe. We have slightly more robust security plan. We've been planning this event for 12 months. According to DC police officials, over 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel will be on the ground. They also have increased CCTV to monitor the whole city. I pray that God's divine hand keeps January 20th a peaceful day for everyone. Okay, so there you go. The FBI said, no, there's no threat, no threat. A Secret Service agent in charge of President Trump's inauguration said there's a higher threat environment. It's up to you who to believe. Okay. With that, guys, I'm going to end it there for today. I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday. Not sure if I'm going to do a live or just a video. But anyway, I will be here. Okay, guys, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.